want in life as well. So what is it that you really want in life in a guy, and the love that you desire? So really nut down. Is he tall? Is he unselfish? Is he handsome? Is he respectful? Listing all those qualities and mapping out who your quality guy would look like to qualify to be your man as well. So what does he look like? How would you like him to be? What is it that you want in life? So knowing what you want to a guy is really, really powerful because it gives them a goal to achieve.
Yeah, so true. And I love that. And I think very few people even would question that, understand it, or even know that. They wouldn't even know. Well, this weekend I actually celebrate 30 years of marriage, and I guess which is a big one.
Congratulations!
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a big one. I think it's a pearl. I've only just realised that it is a pearl. So maybe I'm hoping for some pearls. But I'm guessing in all of this, Tash, I was very young. I was 20 when I met my husband. These things change. These things change through life. It'll be interesting because what you've discussed today, I'm actually going away on a surprise weekend. I've no idea where we're going. But I'm going to ask some of these questions. And when we ask these questions, we're bearing our vulnerability, aren't we? We are really bearing our vulnerability.
Yep.
And I'm going to see if he adds up, because I truly believe in a long-term relationship, we've got to keep working at it. It just doesn't stop with the dating and we've got the man, does it? We've got to keep that relationship going. We've got to keep that spark going. So all this stuff, the reason I bring that in here now is it's super important in dating, but it's also very important that you keep this going as your relationship's growing. We don't just automatically stop. And we can get very complacent when we're in a relationship. We can get bored of doing things. And so I think this is fantastic today. And I think it's going to be very good for me. And that leads me on to a secret question that good, high-quality men ask themselves when dating, but won't tell a woman this. So what is that? Ooh, I'm very curious.
That is. And I was thinking about this question today too, Louise. The main key question a man will ask themselves that won't tell a woman is, am I going to hurt her? Now, any guy that doesn't have good intentions and couldn't care less, hence charming manipulator, so wins a woman over to benefit himself, won't think twice about this question. But a high-quality man with good intentions will. Am I going to hurt her? Now, in order to prevent this from happening, a woman really is, and it's difficult because I've experienced this myself, needs to be able to step back and trust and allow and be vulnerable to the man and allow him to lead and pace the relationship in his own time. Because if he fears that you're more invested or more committed than what he is or what he feels he's ready to give, the pressure within himself skyrockets. Because if he fears there's a risk of hurting you or you being hurt or you hurting him, he won't pursue the relationship because the pressure skyrockets within himself and he fears that he's going to hurt you.
Okay.
So, it is vitally important, and I've experienced this myself, to step back, and it is very difficult, and allow him to lead and pace things in his own time. Now, how can you tell if he's really interested in leading and pacing the relationship in his own time is he'll be vulnerable with you. He'll say things about his past, openly about his childhood. He'll be vulnerable about his past relationships. He'll talk about his future and openly say, well, let's lead and pace this in my own time, like I'm not ready. If he feels there's pressure, he's going to just pull right back out of fear of, I'm going to hurt this woman. So remembering, like us women, men also have a fear of rejection as well. But the big fear that men hold, and a lot of people don't know this, is they have a fear of inadequacy. So it's not just a fear of being controlled and a fear of losing their freedom. They deeply fear inadequacy. So a high-quality man will ask himself, am I going to hurt her? Because there's that fear of being inadequate.
Brilliantly put. I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the way you've put that. So if we find ourselves, if the listener out there finding themselves in that position, yeah, when they step back, at what point, how long do you give this man? What, how long is this? Do you give them a month? I mean, how long? Because we've got to look after ourselves in all of this,
Exactly.
So at what point?
Sorry for interrupting you, that leads into the fact of while you're doing that, like willingly stepping back and allowing him to lead and pace the relationship in his own time, ask yourself these questions. Does he have good intentions? Does this high-quality man have good intentions? Ask yourself, does he or will he appreciate my time, effort and loyalty? Can I trust him and lean into him to feel safe and to knowing that he will lead and pace this in his own time? But I'm not saying kick your boundaries to the curb and let them be a doormat. That's not what I'm saying at all. Asking those questions and absorb his actions and his behaviour and the way he's interacting with you. I mean, men know on a gut level that having a woman in their life that trusts him ultimately will allow him to do more and experience a lot more in life. So that's one key as well. But I would also tune into your values. Like, is this man worth waiting for, or is it not what it seems?
Again, we go back to the values, and that's living by our core values. All the time. I mean, so many areas in our life, and specifically now we're talking about men and dating. It's absolutely key that at all times our values, we are taking action in alignment with our values. And as you say, if this man is, if everything's ticking the box, but it's not just the right time for him, why would you leave him? Well, why? Because everything's there.
Exactly. And a lot of people will, they get into relationships and they expect to change each other. It's like, no, if you cannot accept your partner for who they are like now, in the now today, and I've had this discussion many a times with many people, if you can't accept them for who they are right now and be with that, provided there's good intentions, don't put a delusion on who you expect them to be and on the pedestal who you expect them to be. And a lot of women will do this with their guys. He has to be like this and this is how I want him to be. If you can't accept him and truly see him clearly for who he is now and let him grow and evolve into a better man in his own time, and men do the same with women, allow her to grow and evolve in her own time. Be there to support each other with their own goals and dreams and missions, but don't try to change somebody, because as women we tend to jump in and rescue things and try and fix everything rather than allowing them to fix themselves.
Absolutely, and that boils down to what I believe is the deepest form of love. I'm not sure where you are in this, Tasha. It would be good to see as being there for someone. I believe is the deep, and it can be the hardest point where you can see someone hurting themselves, hurting others, with self-sabotage, with negative habits, etc. And it is not our place for us, as you say, to rescue them, to nurture them, to make them better. So I really, truly believe that being there for that person is the greatest form and the deepest form of love. Would you say?
I would say. And I also noted and spoke to another lady today, actually. I said, rather than supporting him how you want or how you think he wants support, ask him how he would like to be supported. Ask him, would he like some space? Would he like just a hug? Would he like to talk? Ask him how he would like to be supported, not support him how you think he wants.
And again, that's being there, isn't it, for that person?
Being there, and the paradigm really shifted.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah. Wow. Wow, so important, so important. I often get asked, because I've been married a long time now, one of the core ingredients, and I always say it's our friendship. Would you agree or not? And people have their own view on this. I just think it's an interesting one, that we are actually best of friends and soulmates. But do you think that's true? Do you have to be that?
I agree with you, Louise, because I think the friendship is the core of building trust. Like that, yes, because to me, my ideal partnership would be, but is based around friendship. So the friendship, the best friend, the lover, the soulmate, really be able to see your partner and building that friendship first. That key element of trust is around the good quality friendship.
Yeah.
And again, great high quality men will have very few friends because there's that level of trust. You don't go and trust every second person you meet. There's probably 4 or 5 people in your life that you ultimately really trust.
Right.
So I agree with the friendship. Yeah.
So that's a good quality
Totally
as well. Yeah. Thanks for
good
that, Tasha.
quality.
And that's a good thing for people to look for as well, you know, if that's important to you in a relationship. So that's a very interesting question that men ask themselves. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Tasha, what have you learnt about dating as a single mum? And how many children have you?
2.
So you've got 2 children. And how old are they?
My eldest is 11 and my youngest is 6. My oldest is 10, sorry, and my youngest is 6.
Okay, so they're still little, aren't they? They're still at primary school, really. We've not hit the teens. We've not hit that yet. So, what would you say? Just tell us a little bit about how dating's been, obviously, as a mum with your children being, you know, such a high priority in your life. Just tell us a little bit about your experience, if you can.
Oh, wow. Dating as a single mum.
Because there's millions and millions of people who want to hear about this.
It's interesting. Like it really goes back to your qualities because you step back and think it's not just about me anymore. Like I look at it in the sense of I can't just randomly pick any old guy because not only aligning with my values, it's got to be aligning with my children as well and what's good for them.
Absolutely. So it's a whole new ball game.
So it's a whole new ball game, and also sitting back and thinking, do I physically want to have any more children? And the answer to that is no. So I'm not going to go and date a man who doesn't have children himself but wants children himself because that's not fair on him or myself. Would I date a person that already has children and I would take them on board? Yes, of course I would. Because of my experience with myself having kids, it's the same. I see it as the same sort of area. You know, there's my children to accept as well, so I would choose to accept his kids as well, provided we lived in the same alignment and values. So it's really about mapping out that guy on who you would like to be with, who's out there.
So that just goes to show that our values change as we grow. Because before you had the children, that might not have been a value. Well, it certainly wouldn't have been in the same context. Because even if we want children and we haven't got them, it changes everything when you actually have them. So I think, would you say it's important that we keep keep tapping into ourselves, if you like, to check in, what are our values right now? And I know for me, my children have left home. My children are, Charlotte's almost 29, James is almost 28, and Sophie's almost 26. So they are, my values have dramatically changed from having them, when they were babies. So I think it's important that we continue to, check in with our values and note that they will change.
Yeah, checking into with your values and what's important to you, and boundaries. Boundaries is a huge one I noticed in dating.
Okay, let's talk about this, because I think boundaries is massive, and
massive.
Specifically in this dating area. Let's talk about this.
Okay, so boundaries in your dating area. Don't just randomly allow anyone into your life if there's no boundaries. Like, obviously for myself, my kids will come first because they're the first priority. So